Picture this. It's Thursday night. Jake is sitting at his kitchen table staring at a paycheck that would have sounded unbelievable to his 22-year-old self. He makes $150,000 a year. 10 years ago, he thought that number would solve everything. No more money stress, no more checking prices, no more worrying about bills. In his mind, $150,000 wasn't comfortable. It was rich. But here's the weird part. Jake doesn't feel rich, not even close. The mortgage is due next week. His SUV payment hits in 4 days. Property taxes just went up again. Groceries somehow cost twice what they used to. And despite making more money than he ever imagined, he still finds himself asking the same question millions of Americans ask every month. Where is all my money going? And that's when Jake discovers something most people never realize. The reason Americans don't feel rich has almost nothing to do with how much they earn. It has everything to do with how their lifestyle grows. Let's start with a simple question. What happens when someone gets a raise? Most people think they save more, invest more, build wealth faster. But that's usually not what happens. Instead, something much more predictable happens. The apartment becomes a house. The used car becomes a new SUV. The budget vacation becomes a luxury vacation. The affordable neighborhood becomes the better school district. Every upgrade feels reasonable. Every upgrade feels earned. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. Because the moment income goes up, expenses quietly follow it. Financial experts call this lifestyle inflation. And it might be the biggest wealth killer in America. Think about it. When Jake made $60,000, he dreamed about making $100,000. When he reached $100,000, he dreamed about making $150,000. Now he's at $150,000. And he's still waiting for the feeling he thought would arrive. The problem is that every time his income increased, his lifestyle increased too. His paycheck got bigger. But so did his obligations, and eventually, those obligations started eating almost every dollar of progress. Now here's where things get really interesting. Because the problem isn't just financial, it's psychological. Human beings adapt incredibly fast. The new house becomes normal. The new salary becomes normal. The nicer car becomes normal. What felt exciting 6 months ago becomes ordinary. And once something feels ordinary, your brain immediately starts looking for the next upgrade. It's like running on a treadmill. You're moving faster, but you're not actually getting anywhere. And social media makes this even worse, because no matter how much money you make, somebody online is making more. You buy a nice car, someone buys a Lamborghini, you take a vacation, someone flies first class to Italy, you hit 6 figures, someone posts about making $1 million. At every level, there's always another ladder above you, which means comparison never ends. And if comparison never ends, neither does the feeling of being behind. Now let's talk about the biggest expense in most American households. Housing. Because housing changes everything. Imagine 2 families earning the exact same income. One has a $1,500 mortgage. The other has a $4,000 mortgage. Technically, they're making the same money, but financially, they're living in completely different worlds. One has flexibility, the other has pressure. One can save, the other can barely breathe. This is why income alone doesn't determine wealth. Cash flow does. What matters isn't how much money comes in. What matters is how much stays. And that's a lesson most people learn way too late. Here's another thing nobody talks about. Many people confuse looking rich with being rich. Those are not the same thing. Looking rich is driving the luxury SUV. Being rich is owning assets. Looking rich is wearing expensive brands. Being rich is having investments working while you sleep. Looking rich gets attention. Being rich gets freedom. And freedom is what people are actually chasing, not money. Think about 2 people. One earns $300,000 a year but is drowning in debt. The other earns $90,000, has no debt, investments, and a growing net worth. Who feels richer? For many people, it's the second person. Because real wealth isn't measured by income, it's measured by options. Can you handle an emergency? Can you leave a bad job? Can you survive without your next paycheck? Can you sleep at night? That's what financial freedom looks like. And financial freedom creates a feeling that income alone never can. This is the mistake millions of Americans make. They think the next raise will finally make them feel rich. Everything changes, because being rich isn't about how much you make. It's about how much of your life you actually own.